Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Welcome to Women's Hoops and Talks, the What podcast, where we are elevating the voice of women in basketball. I'm Tara, and Kendall's here today. Hi, Kendall.
Hi, Tara.
It's great to hear your voice again. So what have you been doing since the World Cup is over?
Well, I just finished up my internship and packed up my stuff, moved back to Portland. I just drove. Was driving Monday and Tuesday, just got back, and then heading back to New York in about a week. So I'm not here long.
One busy lady. Well, I'm very glad that we got you when we could. And I think I can probably speak for both of us when I say that we are very excited to have our guest this evening. Let's just go right into it. Joining us tonight is Amara Baptist. She is the digital content manager for the Portland Trailblazers. She is brand new in Portland, but before that, she was with the Memphis Grizzlies, and she also has worked at Fox Sports and with the Dodgers, among many other jobs that sound really fascinating, and I hope she tells us about some of them. Anyway, Amara, welcome to Portland, welcome to Rip City, and welcome to the What Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be in all those things.
Well, so Tara just kind of mentioned some of your past jobs, but can you kind of go a little more in depth and kind of tell us about your experience and kind of what brought you up to this point to coming to Portland?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm from Los Angeles originally, and my first kind of big step into social media was at Fox Sports. And I hadn't really had any experience in social media except other than just trying to build my own whatever on the internet. But I've always been a huge fan of basketball. I know this is kind of bad to say, but I grew up a Lakers fan. So I was super into the online NBA Twitter and all that stuff. So I knew social media, but I didn't know that was a job and that could be a career path. So I started working at Fox Sports doing social media for their late night TV show called Fox Sports Live. And I really just kind of fell in love with the digital and social way of sharing content. I was working really weird hours, so I got to learn a lot about different sports. I was a huge basketball fan, but I didn't really know anything about tennis and boxing and UFC. And I kind of just had a crash course in all that, which was super awesome. And now I feel like I'm somewhat knowledgeable in other things. But I worked there for 2 years. And, you know, my goal was the MBA. And before I got into social media, I wanted to do PR. And I didn't really know how to get into it. Obviously, it's a super competitive field. And just to get into the MBA in general is really tough. So I heard a lot of no's, and I heard a lot of, you don't have enough experience, and, you know, we can't take a chance on you. And it really, you know, obviously it's upsetting when you don't get the jobs that you want, but it really pushed me to get experience. So I was interning at every free event in LA basketball that I could find, and just trying to meet people and learn from people in the industry. So I started to build my network that way, which later on helped me get a job in the NBA with the Memphis Grizzlies.
I have a question about some of the positions that you did before you
Yeah.
got to the Memphis Grizzlies. I saw that you worked for the Drew League and you worked for
Yes.
the Kobe Bryant Skills Academy. I would
Yeah.
love to hear a little bit more about some of those positions.
Sure. So, obviously, being a Lakers fan, I was a huge Kobe Bryant fan, and one of my good friends was like a manager of an internship at this camp in Santa Barbara, and he asked me if I would be interested, and I was like, yes, of course. I don't know what we're going to be doing or what this is, but yes, I'm doing it. So I went to Santa Barbara, and it was basically just an internship, not for college credits or anything, because my college courses didn't really add up. It was more for just experience on my end. And it was like 4 or 5 day long camp, and we were managing all of the campers. There was a group of like 30 interns, and we were managing the campers. And it was so cool to just be around basketball all day for 4 to 5 days. And that was kind of when I knew, I want to make this a career. Somehow, some way, I just want to be in basketball. And I met so many amazing people through that camp. Actually, one of my best friends I met there. And I did that for, I think I interned 2 years, and then I was promoted to like salary or whatever I was paid, which was pretty cool. Yeah. And then the Drew League is an amazing basketball experience for anyone. If you ever go to LA, it's during the summer, and it's basically just basketball games all weekend long with some of the best players from overseas. NBA players come later on in the summer, and it's just competitive games. G League players come, and I interned there a summer, and it was so fun. I worked with Nike, and yeah, that was kind of long-winded, but it was super, super fun experiences.
Yeah, so that's actually it's funny you say you're working for Fox Sports. That's where my internship has actually been the past
Oh, no way.
8 months. Yeah. I've actually heard a lot about you because I worked with the FS1 team, and when you joined the team, yeah, a lot of them. So there's a lot of people were telling me, one of our friends is working for the Blazers now. And so it's kind of full circle. It's kind of interesting how that's worked out.
That is so awesome.
But yeah, so kind of obviously the season hasn't started yet, so you're not covering games or anything like that. But what has it kind of been like so far in the position as the digital content manager for the Blazers?
Yeah, so it's been a really, really fun experience so far. Obviously, I worked for the Grizzlies for 2 years, so I kind of knew what the job was. I have a little bit more responsibility here in Portland as far as like the back end on the website and dabbling in photography, stuff like that. But yeah, Summer League, I was in Vegas for, I think it ended up being like 12 days. So that was really fun, and we won the championship. So that was really cool. And now it's kind of just back to, planning for the season and thinking ahead to different activations we can do. Yeah, I just can't wait till the season starts.
What exactly does a digital content manager do? I imagine it's probably a little bit different from team to team or whatever, but how did you figure out what that position is? Because like you were saying earlier, like you didn't even know that it was a job, and it actually wasn't even a job like 10 years ago. None of us even knew what any of this stuff was. And now suddenly it's like a really major part of a team's marketing and brand and everything. So like what is it exactly that that you do, or that you think you'll probably do as the season goes on?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm managing all of our digital platforms right now. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, the website, creating if we have a press release that goes out, I'll put that on the website. We'll make photo galleries. And then as far as other jobs, I guess, I'll be traveling with the team, which I'm really excited about. So I'll be there to get on-site coverage. I'm gonna learn how to take better photos, because that's something I've always wanted to learn. And then just pretty much, like you said, working with different teams, like the sales team, ticket sales, PR, marketing, kind of just being a liaison for all of those different departments to get, the good things that the Blazers do out there to the world.
So how much of the tweeting or Instagramming or Facebooking do you do? Is there like a team behind that? Is that your voice? Are you taking over a voice that was created by somebody else, or are you creating a new one? How does all of that, like the voice of the team, work?
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that, because that was actually one of my hesitations coming into this role. Not even, coming into it, but when I was interviewing, I expressed to my now boss, the Blazers have always had such an incredible voice on social, and I was nervous. I was like, okay, well, am I going to be able to be that, snarky, voice that the fans love? And, my boss would kind of explain to me, like, yeah, I mean, you can definitely do that. We've seen what you can do. So don't worry about that. Just be yourself. But also, there's an incredible roadmap that the social media team has laid out in the past. And I'm just trying to, insert my personality where I can, but definitely keep the brand voice. And as far as day-to-day stuff, I'm currently doing all the posting. I'm going to be on vacation in a couple weeks. So my boss, I think, will take over. But yeah, I'm doing all the day-to-day stuff right now.
So something that I've found interesting kind of now that I've been kind of working in social media a little bit more is dealing with the backlash from fans and all of that. And obviously I know there's a lot of people who choose to just completely ignore it, because since it is a team, it's not really like a personal attack or anything like that. But how do you kind of, now that you're kind of the voice of this team's social media, like how are you going to kind of approach that as far as listening to fans, and kind of if you're going to cater to that at all, or if you're just not going to let that bother you?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to use my experience with the Grizzlies as an example, because last season the Grizzlies lost 60 games, which is brutal. And it was super negative. Everybody was down. There were a ton of injuries, a ton of turnover, and it was just a really negative time on the internet with fans and, quite frankly, in the organization. And at first that really bothered me, because I'm a sensitive person. I care about, the players and the team and the organization, and just being surrounded by that negativity really affected me. And then I kind of had to step back. And like you said, this is not a personal attack. Fans want to be heard. And that's, social media is how they're heard. That's an outlet for them. And once I kind of stepped back and, was like, oh, okay, they're not trying to make you feel bad. They're just getting their frustrations out. Just try not to read the comments. And if you do read the comments, just let it go. But yeah, it's definitely tough. And I think that it is really important to listen to what fans are saying. Obviously, I don't have the control to get a player or waive a player. But, I think just seeing the conversation is super important.
What are some of your favorite, sort of moments or tweets you've been most proud of, or things like that you did that, can kind of counteract some of those nights when you had a really rough night, or the team had a really rough night and everyone was coming at you? What are some kind of, flip side fun things or like inspirational things that have happened to you?
Yeah, for sure. So last season, I don't know if you remember, like the barbecue fit photo that was going around of like Brooklyn barbecue. It was pretty depressing. And I saw that, and it was a Sunday, and I think we were in the midst of like a 16 game losing streak or something crazy. And I texted my boss and I was like, what if we like make a joke about this barbecue?
Wait, what's the Brooklyn? Can you tell us a little bit about the Brooklyn barbecue?
So I saw this meme going around, and it was a piece of barbecue from Brooklyn that was super like wrinkly and it looked dry. And it was like the bread was like gross. And it was a real thing. Like they were really serving this barbecue in Brooklyn. So obviously Memphis is known for its barbecue. And, I saw that and immediately was like, oh my gosh, we need to say something about this. So I tweeted from the Grizzlies account, like I tweeted at our police department. And I said, we'd like to report a crime or something. And it totally blew up. And it was just positive moment for me because I was like, okay, we've lost 16 games, but like that tweet did really well, and like people are talking about our brand in a positive way. That stuck out.
I'm sorry, my dog is freaking out in the background. So how have you been adjusting to life in Portland? Because I'm sure obviously Portland and Memphis are very, very different. So how has that transition been for you?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Los Angeles, so it's super nice being back on the West Coast, and Pacific time is glorious. I forgot how wonderful it is. Yeah, no, I love Portland so far. Everyone was kind of telling me about the weather and yada yada, and it rained. I personally really like the rain. I don't know if I'll feel like that after like 6 months of rain, but yeah, I mean, I really like it. The people are super cool. It's been a fairly easy transition. I was a little nervous about moving again to a new place, but one of my great friends lives here, Kayla Knapp. She does social for the Portland Timbers. So that's been fun knowing someone, here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love it.
How have you you've probably had plenty of chances to meet and interact with the players now and the team. Did anybody giving you a hard time or ribbed you or been like especially helpful for you?
Well,
none of our guys would of course give you a hard time.
No. Summer League was actually really cool because I got to meet, kind of the younger guys, and Gary Trent Jr. and Anthony are super cool. I have to say I was really nervous when I met Dame for the first time. I've always been a huge Damian fan, so that was kind of stressful. I was like nervous, sweating a little bit, but he's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I haven't met a ton of the starters, but I'm excited to meet all of them.
Great. Tara, do you have any more questions before the final one?
Well, I would just ask you, Amara, if you have any questions for us about Portland. Like, are you looking for any particular like type of food or something to do or something that like you miss about Memphis that you're trying to find something special about Portland? Anything that we can do to make your life here more comfortable?
Well, yeah. I mean, give me all you got. I went to the zoo. I was super in love with the zoo. I'm definitely going to go back. I've been eating my way through Portland. Absolutely. I've definitely been doing that. But any recommendations you have? I know like there's some good hiking spots. So if you can give me the lowdown on those, I would be appreciated.
Yeah. Have you been to the Japanese garden yet up in Washington
No,
Park?
I have not.
I actually just went there today.
Did you? Awesome.
Yeah.
I would say the reason I recommend that is because it's a very calm and peaceful and beautiful place. And, when things get heated, when the season starts and as the social brand and everyone's coming at you, you might enjoy going there because it's very calm and very relaxing.
Yeah. I would say hiking.
I would love that.
Yeah, I think hiking wise, I like going over kind of up by the gorge and doing like the waterfalls, which they're not super intense hikes. Most of them are like about a mile long to each thing. So they're pretty short, but you tend to do like a lot of them at once. So you kind of move through all the different waterfalls. And that's a lot of fun because it's really pretty. And it's not super intense. So it's like it's kind of a more relaxed, more of just a scenic kind of hike. But yeah, definitely up by the gorge and do that. I love doing that.
Okay, yeah. I'm definitely going to have to do that before the season.
And people are going to probably want to know pretty soon which your donut preference is. That's like kind of a big deal in Portland.
Okay, yeah.
They're going to be like, are you Voodoo? Are you Blue Star? Are you Pips? So I would recommend that you eat a lot of donuts, you try a lot, and you take your time before you make your decision. You do a lot of research first.
You know what's actually funny? When we came to Portland, when I was with the Grizzlies, I went to Voodoo, and I wasn't like that impressed, to be honest. I mean, it was really cool to Instagram, but as far as taste, I wasn't too impressed. But I have had Blue Star, and Blue Star are really good. So
yeah, Blue Star is my favorite.
Answer, but...
No, Blue Star is definitely my favorite. I agree with your Voodoo take. I think I've always described Voodoo as they're like average donuts with interesting toppings.
Mm-hmm.
Because the actual donut itself is like it tastes like the same donut you would get like at a grocery store or something. It's
For
just
sure.
the toppings are super cool and they have like unique names and they look cool and everything. But yeah, definitely Blue Star is the way to go.
I think I'm Team Blue Star.
Well, there's one more. If you haven't checked out Pips yet, Pips is really good because they make little donuts.
Yeah, they do.
And they make them right in front of you. So they like come
Ooh.
right out of the batch and they give them to you. So you get like a half a dozen little tiny ones and they've just come in right out of the fryer. So they're like crisp on the outside and cakey on the inside.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Also, if you like ice cream, definitely like Salt and Straw. You probably
have
will
been
have to
there.
line. Oh yeah.
Yes, so good.
Yeah. Do you like are you a big
So
coffee
good.
drinker?
I am.
I personally love Stumptown coffee. That's my favorite.
Yes, I went there. We actually have Stumptown coffee at the office, so I drink it every morning, which is super delicious.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
So you're aware of the Shabazz is the Man commercial, Stumptown TV commercial?
Oh my gosh.
It was
yes.
Last year it was like totally viral and people either absolutely loved it or hate it. And it's going to be super hard not to have Shabazz Napier back with us this year. And can't wait to find out if Stumptown does another awesome commercial with another Trailblazer.
Yeah. My coworker showed me that and I was like, I'm obsessed with this. Everything about it. I loved it.
Shabazz is the man. But I do understand that Brooklyn has a Stumptown, so I guess he'll be taken care of back there. One more thing, but we do have one last question that we like to ask everybody. But first, thank you so much for being on with us, and can't wait to see more of your work as the off season progresses, and then once the season starts, hope that you'll consider coming on again.
Yeah, for sure.
What we like to ask is, who is a woman who inspires you, either in your work or just, in your everyday, but, who's a woman who really inspires you?
So I worked with this woman named Mina Park at Fox Sports. I've known her for, I think, 4 or 5 years now, and she is hands down the most creative and talented person I know. She got a job at the Rams in LA doing their social media. And recently, and she had been telling me since I met her, I want to be my own boss. I want to start my own digital agency. And she just kept, that was just something that she's always wanted to do. And she did it. And she started up a digital agency called Crispy Chicken Co. with one of her best friends. And I'm just so proud of her. And shout out Mina.
That's awesome. You want to tell folks the best way? Obviously one way to find your work is at trailblazers.com, but do you have, or is at Trailblazers, but do you have any other accounts that you will be tweeting from, or will you just pretty much be doing the Trailblazers? Yeah,
so I'll be doing Trailblazers, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. So if you follow there, that'll be my work.
Awesome. Someday somebody has to show me how to do Snapchat, because I just absolutely cannot wrap
I got
my
you.
Head. I cannot wrap my head around Snapchat for some reason. Well, Amara, thanks again for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much.
That'll do it for this episode of Women's Hoops and Talks, the What Podcast. You can find us as part of the Blazers Edge podcast feed. Please find us on Apple, iTunes, or Stitcher, or whatever you listen to. Find the podcast on Twitter at Hoops and Talks. I am at TCB Biggs on Twitter, and Kendall is at Kendall Bennett 16.